Hey everybody, Max Aita here with Joshua Gibson, and we are going to cover some common errors in the snatch. This one being the bar drifting forward as you pull it off the floor. Josh is going to demonstrate. Very bad. So you'll notice here when he starts to pull off the ground, instead of that bar sweeping back into him nicely or coming close to his shins, it drifts way out in front of him, and then it has to loop around his knee and come back to his hip for him to make contact and finish the lift. Big no-no. One of the biggest problems here is that the bar is getting away from him in general, and that's going to make everything a little bit harder, but also he doesn't maximize the ability to actually bring the bar in towards his body as he lifts off the ground if the bar is drifting out in front. We're going to cover this in a multi-layered approach. The first being we're going to try to use some cues to help correct it. We're going to then use a drill. Then we're going to do a special exercise. And then finally, we're going to cover a general strength exercise for him to work on developing some control of that bar path and strength in the beginning of the pull. So first thing we're going to do, when Josh gets set up, we want to cue him a little bit, try to get him to do things correctly. One of the biggest cues is to have him sweep the bar in towards him. Really all that means is we want to have him keep his lats basically tense, and as he comes off the ground, focus on pushing the bar back towards his body as he lifts. Nice, that worked really well. Another cue we can use is have him stay over the bar, keep his shoulders over the bar. A lot of times when people let the bar drift out in front of them, it's because their shoulders are moving back behind the bar too quickly. So we cue him to keep his shoulders over. Again, pretty decent cue that helps him. He can feel that and get pretty comfortable with it. So one final cue, Josh's favorite, is to shave your legs, something he's very familiar with. He's going to get set up, and the same kind of idea here is just getting him to keep the bar close to his legs as he pulls. He's focused on basically the feeling of shaving his legs. Obviously, the one Josh is most comfortable with. So we've tried those cues. Let's say those are not working. Let's say he's just not listening to me. I've been saying these over and over for a week now. My face, it turned blue. I'm just so frustrated. Now we're going to try some drills, okay? Biggest drill we're going to use, kind of the first thing to go to, is the tempo snatch. Tempo snatch is really just a snatch where we execute the first pull from the ground to about knee height with a slow tempo, and then we execute the rest of the lift normal speed. So in general, when we have people set up for the tempo snatch, everything's the same, but we're going to start that pull, that initiation of the lift off the ground, and take about 4 to 6 seconds in your head, counting, to get the bar from the ground to just above the knee. So he slowly moves off the ground, brings the bar up, finishes the lift. The big benefit of this is that when he controls the speed of the pull off the ground, he has a lot more feel for where the bar is. If he's going fast, he doesn't know if that bar is coming forward, coming back properly, but when he goes really slow, it's really obvious. You're going to get a ton of feedback because you're not pulling fast, you're pulling slow enough, you can tell where your balance is going forward or back, if the bar is drifting out in front or coming back to you. We use this maybe before a session of snatching, so if your main workout that day is, snatch doubles or it's Big Friday or something, you might throw these in at, 60, 70%, maybe singles or doubles, not a ton of volume. Use it as a way to kind of prime yourself and get comfortable with what's going to go on as far as how to pull that bar off the ground, keep it close, and not let it drift out in front of you. Second layer we're going to work on here is going to be a special exercise. This is going to be a snatch with a pause at the knee. It's very similar to the tempo snatch in that we're putting a lot of constraints around the first pull. So he's going to lift the bar from the ground. He's going to set up just like you would in a snatch. He's going to do a snatch, but then right when he hits his kneecap, he's going to pause, and he's going to hold that position isometrically for a few seconds. Generally, we want 3 to 6 seconds here as well. You can go even as much as 10 if you really wanted to. Then from here, he's going to execute the lift normally, completing the snatch. Again, the same kind of thing going on here that we're doing in the tempo snatch is we're controlling what happens from the ground to his knee. He can pull a little bit smoother. He can focus on that. When he gets to his kneecap, he's got a chance to do 2 things. One, reposition himself in the proper position. If he pulled off the ground, the bar drifts forward, and he gets to his knee, and he's way behind the bar, he can correct that, push himself back over the bar to the right spot, and then initiate the lift from there correctly. And the second thing it does is it gives him a chance to spend a little bit more time in that position and develop a little bit more comfort and feel and strength for what he needs to be doing when he actually gets the bar to his kneecap, which is stay on top of the barbell. This exercise can be done pretty heavy, it can be done as a main movement. Basically, any kind of snatch session could be comprised of a pause snatch, reps from singles to triples or fours if you really wanted, all the way up to near maximum or maximum weights. The final layer of our cake here, our fixing the snatch cake, is the general strength exercise, okay? Again, we're gonna focus on the first pull. Biggest thing here, he's gonna get set by the bar. He's gonna do a snatch pull to the knee. So all he's gonna do is condense a lot of the work he's doing into just that first pull. He's gonna get set like he would for the snatch. He's gonna do a deadlift up to his knee, and he's gonna hold that for a second, then lower the bar, okay? What we're doing here is basically a very heavy or pretty heavy deadlift up to the knee, focusing on the same things we were in the pause snatch and the tempo snatch. We're gonna control the speed off the ground. We're gonna control the trajectory of the bar. We're gonna make sure our knees move back so that when the bar hits our kneecap, he's in a perfect position. His shin is vertical, he's on top of the barbell. When he pauses momentarily at the top of the pull, it's also a chance to do the same thing that we did in the pause snatch, which is adjust his positioning to make sure he's actually where he should be when that bar gets to his kneecap. You can see again, if he does one more, doesn't need to be fast, doesn't need to be anything aggressive, he's not yanking the bar, he's just gonna lift, just like he would snatch, he's gonna pause, then lower the bar, and do another rep. This exercise is a general strength movement. We're gonna be able to load this with a lot more weight. Because we're only doing about half of the actual snatch deadlift, you can use pretty heavy weights at this, in excess of 120% of your snatch if you really want to. It's not gonna distort your technique too much, and you can do pretty significant training sessions here like you would for any general strength exercise, 1 to 5 reps for up to 20, 25 reps in a whole session. We combine all three of these together into a session and create a nice snatch workout that allows us to really address the weaknesses, the issue of pulling the bar out around your knees or pushing the bar forward off the floor. All right. I don't know the ending of that one.
That was good.
I just keep going. I'm like, I gotta stop before I keep saying more.